Hey guys, welcome back to DC Universe Online, and today I'm going to be giving you a nature healing guide, as you can probably tell from the title, and the fact I'm not on my normal character. I'm not on Diamond Mouse, sorry, I'm on my main character, which is nature, as you probably could have guessed. And first we're going to start off with what powers I use. So let's go into plants. I go straight down the middle to get harvest. You don't actually need that, I don't think, but I get blossom, bloom, and I go down to get cross-pollination because I use that. And shape-shifting, all the left, whole of the left side. You need metabolism, hive mind, and everyone uses this supercharge because it's the best. And the iconic powers, I'll just go into both the resto ones, and the one that gives you a bit more power. For the loadout, start up with savage growth, because that releases pheromones here to heal your allies over time. Cross-pollination, then go metabolism, blossom, hive mind, and your supercharge. I'll explain to you what all those do in a minute. You got your first one, savage growth. All that does, it releases pheromones which heal over time. As you can see in the top left corner, don't know if I can show you, it's up here in the top left corner, the little green heart underneath my name. That means there's pheromones out and healing over time is in action. So I usually try and keep that there if I can. So if your allies are going below 75%, I usually pop 1 and 3 straight away, because those are both healing over time. And metabolism, which is my number 3, makes healing over time faster. As I can show you here, accelerates the healing over time for yourself and your teammates. So, oh, we got rid of it. So as soon as you've got both of them up, you should be fine, so keep hitting. I recommend using hand blasts, because you can see my hit counter below the sparring target's name. It's on 13, 14, 15. If you can keep that up pretty high, it means you regenerate power quicker. So if you're low on power, throw it healing over time and just start hitting. You start hitting people like this, because it regens pretty quick. And next of all, if you've got your healing over time going already, your 1 and your 3, and your people are still going down, like the health's dropping below 75%, hit your number 4, which is blossom. And what that does, if you notice the green heart underneath my name, I'll put it there again, that'll disappear when I use that, because I use all the pheromones in the air, I take them away for a bigger heal. It gives a massive heal, blossom does. If you've got them little green hearts there, use blossom, you get a massive heal. And it doesn't take too much power actually. If we let my power regen a second. Come on. Just wait for power to regen, I'll show you how much power it uses. There we go. If I use that and number 4, it only takes a smidgen of power to do that. So I think that's really good. Anyway, that is if you're stood at the back of the party. You've got your tank up front here, tanking. You've got your DPSs here doing the damage. You've got your trollers back a bit further, giving power, and then there's you back here, the healer. That's what I recommend using your 1, 3 and your 4. But if you're in the mix, right, which is usually in alerts and stuff, I usually get in the mix and do a bit of damage in alerts because they're not as difficult as raids. You can use your cross-pollination, but I only use that if everybody's health is going down. Not just one person. If a lot of your teammates' health's going down, use cross-pollination because it's a very close ranged area of effect. So I like to use it in the Gates of Tartarus. At the start where you get the Cyclopses, you just keep flying over to them. 1, Savage Growth and area effect. Cross pollination, that's an area of effect. I usually try and keep the Cyclops alive. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of healers don't heal in the start of that raid, but I do. I try and keep them Cyclops alive. Anyway, moving down the tree to number 5. What does number 5 do? Well, if you look underneath my name, you'll see we got a little green spiky thing there now. What that's done is increased mine and the teammates' might and restoration. So you'll notice my restoration will have gone up using that. So I usually try and keep that going all the time. You know, if I'm about to do a heal, you know, 5, 1, 3. That's pretty good. And then when they're about to go down again, 4. If you're up close, you know, use your cross pollination. Let's move on to the rest of my loadout now. Number 6 is Supercharge. I don't really need to explain that. Use that if, you know, if you've got no power, your trolls are out of power. It's an emergency situation sort of thing. Or even if you've been knocked over and you can't heal, you can still use your Supercharge when you're knocked over. Or if you've been encased, like in an ice cube or something, you know, you're frozen and you can't break out, you can still use your Supercharges. So if you're about to lose health there, Supercharge. Next one, I'm using Soda Colas. Nutri-Soda Mark 5s. I don't have the expert plan, so I can't use them. Unless I buy them, but they're expensive. But I do have the Nutri-Soda Cola Mark 5 plan, so I use them. I recommend using the expert though, because it costs the exact same amount of resources to make. Anyway, here we go. I'll tell you what this does. It restores your health and your power, obviously. It also increases your restoration for half an hour. It gives me 284 restoration for half an hour, which is big. That's a lot of resto. I've just got 87 item level healer trinket here, which is from the Hand of Fate DLC, which gives me more slots to put bits and bobs in. I use this trinket, which is the Creepy Jack, which is from the event that's just finished, the Halloween event. This boosts your restoration. It summons a little jack-o'-lantern, and it gives you another 200, just under 300 resto, for only 20 seconds though. And you can't use that in PvP. So, there he is. That'll boost my restoration by a load now. Then I also have this trinket, which I was very lucky to have dropped. Is an 85 item level trinket. It's a Divine Charm of Regeneration. This gives me over 700 restoration for 20 seconds. So all in all, I've boosted my resto by nearly 1,000 just by using my trinkets and my cola. Then I have this. That does a bit of damage. See, the jack-o'-lantern does some damage as well. And of course I have my supply drop. Now that'll give you health and power. So this is the loadout I use for raids. Because I think that's good. I have the airdrop in there because, what's it actually called? I have the Orbital Strike, that's it. I have the Orbital Strike in there because I had an extra slot free, so I thought I'd use it up. Anyway, what do I use for alerts? For duos, I go DPS roll because I don't think you really need a healer for that. So for that, I will swap out my Orbital Strike and I will put in some of these chronometric emitters. So I keep everything the same, only I use these chronometric emitters, which what you do with them is, if you're healing in an alert, I usually get quite close and do a bit of damage maybe. So if I start getting overwhelmed and the tank's not doing his job properly, or there's too many mobs coming after me, or I fall over maybe, something like that, you can pop that, and what that'll do, it'll stun the target. So you can get up and you can leg it. That'll stun everything around. So that'll stun everything around you for a minute, while you can get up and roll away, or fly backwards for a bit to get away from the enemies. And you can use that while under control. So if you've been knocked over, or the enemy is controlling you, pop that. You'll stun everything around you. It's an AoE, and then you can leg it. I only use the Type 1, mainly because it's cheap. You know, it's the cheapest to make, obviously, because it's the Type 1. I don't think the stun lasts as long, and I'm not really too fussed about how much damage it does. I use it, you know, it does 67 damage. I'm using it to get away. You know, it lasts long enough for me to get away. So, that's all I need it for. So, let's talk about raids a bit more. When I first go into a raid, let's put that down. I stay right at the back of the pack. I usually do that combo. If there's one enemy, if there's a load of enemies, I'll just do my AoE damage ones. Those two attacks are showing you there, the hold, and the hold tap. Those are all AoE damage, so that'll attack everything in the way. Obviously, if I'm low on power, I'll just start doing that. Get my hit counter up, so I start regenerating power quicker. And I usually wait until people go below 75% of their health before I start healing. Because if you do before that, there's not much point in healing, you know what I mean? People who paper cut heal, as I call it. Like, as soon as someone takes 5 damage, they're like, oh, I better do, you know, a load of heals to make sure they're all the way up. And no. You only do that. Let me get my own dummy. I only ever heal if they drop below 75%, and I'm at the back of the pack. I'll go 1-3. I rarely use my number 2 in a raid. Very rarely, unless people are coming close to me for heals, then I'll pop it for them. Because it does heal a lot cross-pole. Anyway, so that healing over time will be going on. You can see the green heart underneath everyone's name in the top left corner. All is good. If I start dropping below 75% again, bang, blossom, get everyone back up to full. The healer's main job, I'd say, is to keep the tank alive in a raid, because if the tank goes down, that's it. It's over. I think the troll's job is to keep the healers topped up. It doesn't matter about anyone else, as long as the healers are topped up with power, it's fine. Because the healers can keep the tanks alive. You know, the DPSs are just there, you know, doing whatever they want. It's good to heal them, but the DPSs shouldn't be getting hit at all, if you know what I mean. They're there to do damage, not take damage. That's the tank's job. But anyway, if we go into a boss fight of some sort, straight away I pop my hive mind number 5 to boost everyone's might while they've got a lot of power. If you do that while people, you know, they're low on power, there's not much point. It gives you the resto boost, but it won't give them the might boost. So I use it first thing, so everyone gets that boost of might to do a bit of extra damage to start off. And I also pop my number 8, my jack-o'-lantern, which will boost my restoration a bit more. And as you can see in the top right corner, the spiky things ran out now, which is my hive mind, my number 5. That's ran out. So at this point, I'd be popping my number 9, which is my trinket. So that'll boost my resto again. And I'll just be here, doing a bit of damage. If it's just a boss fight and a one boss, I usually do this combo. It's good for a healer to keep moving in a fight. Not so much when it's just, you know, normal enemies, but you know, if you're in a boss fight, I'd keep moving. You know, keep moving, keep that hit counter up if you're low on power. So I usually start doing that if I'm about 60-70%. I'll just start tapping to get some more hits up on the hit counter. And I use my Supercharge if everyone gets in trouble. Obviously. Why I say move around and jump is because apparently it's supposed to take away interest from the enemies. So apparently they don't attack you as much. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I can't guarantee that. Someone's messing with my sparring target. I can't guarantee that's true, but I do it anyway. It's just natural to me to walk around and jump while I'm attacking. You know, I always do it anyway. So stay at the back of the pack if you're healing, definitely. I use my 0 here. That does a lot of damage. It does about 4,000 damage all in all. And it puts damage over time on. So that's really powerful. You can start off a boss fight like that. You can use, it's an AoE, so you can use it on normal enemies when you just walk into the boss. You know, just to clear it a bit quicker. But I'd save it for the boss fight if I were you. And I only ever use my supply drop if either I'm low on power or the trolls are low on power. You know, I'll kind of like fly over to a troll and I'll be like, hey, bang, I'll pop you down a supply drop, run back to my position, or fly back to my position. So they've got power, they're giving more power out then. So I'll go over that one more time. If they go below 75%, you know, pop your 1 and your 3. I'd keep number 5 going as much as you can. Wouldn't really use 8 or 9, just on normal mobs. I'd only ever use that on boss fights, really, I'd say. So, if I go, if they drop below 75% again and your healing over time is still up, Blossom. If you're close to all your teammates and they're all going down in health, use your number 2. If you're running low on power yourself, keep your hit counter up. And if worst comes to the worst, use your Supercharge. That will put a massive healing over time on, a massive one. You know, for me, it heals like a couple of thousand every second. So, or a couple of seconds whenever the ticks go off. Oh, that guy's doing nothing again. No, doesn't really matter. So, that's about it, pretty much. Sort of stats you should be looking at for tier 5. I mean, my combat rating is 95. I have just under 5,000 health. This is in healer role, healer gear. My power, I have about 4,000 power. Just below. My defense, about 3,500. My might is just over 1,000, so not great. My resto is a bit over 3,000, but that's without buffing, because all my buffs have ran off. When I buff, it goes up a lot more. My VIT is 300, which increases your power healing. So the more VIT you have, the more power you get. Your precision, you don't need any precision, so don't spec into it at all. Mine's just below 300. That's really low, which it should be. Healers should come bottom in the scoreboard at the end. My toughness, that's PvP, so that should be low as you can. 30, you shouldn't have hardly any toughness. Dominance is 50, you don't really need dominance as a healer, so don't spec into that. And that's my combat rating, 95. The gear I have on, I have this face, 82 item level. These are the Atlantean Monarch shoulders. Got some demonic hands here. 83 waist, 83 feet. From some 83 rings, an 86 ring, 86 legs, 85 chest, 85 back, and a neck piece which is 83, which is actually a DPS neck piece because I haven't had a good resto one drop yet, a good healing neck drop, I'm sorry. So I've gone with that, an 85 head and 85 hand blasters. When I get to tier 5, my modding changed. So as you can see, this is an 85 item level piece of gear, and I have a Redstone Precision 5 mod on it. You see where I'm going here? My back piece is an 85 item level back piece. I have a Redstone Health 5 on it. I have an 85 item level chest as a Redstone Health 5 mod. My legs are 86 item level. I have a Redstone Health Expert mod. You see where I'm going with this? So if it's 83, like this one, I actually haven't got the proper mod on that one because I'm cheap. This one has 83 item level. I've got a Resto 3. So if you have an 81, you put a 1. 82, you have a 2. 85 is the 5, and of course 86 is the Expert. And anything above 86, put an Expert on it still. So yeah. If you've got anything that's 80 item level, I don't think I have, just put a beta mod on it or something. You won't be keeping it for too long. Oh, one thing before I go is, see my resto is 3183. If I pop a cola and all my trinkets, my resto goes over 4,000. So yeah, use your trinkets wisely. It's boosted my resto by a lot. Oh, you might have seen the sparring target fall over then. That was my savage growth knocking it over. Savage growth just knock things over. Anyway, that is my healing tutorial. Tell me what you thought of it. Leave me a like if it was good. Comment if you want to see any other tutorials on anything. I'd say this is mainly for PvE, this loadout. I'd swap Hive Mind for the shield instead if I was going PvP, so you can get some shielding on yourself. But apart from that, comment, like and subscribe to see more in the future, and I will see you in whatever video I do next, guys. See you later.